Pip sees that he came to Sutty's house as a kind of servant, to gratify a want or whim and to be paid for it, which is quite different to how he imagined himself, like a surrogate son for Miss Havisham and possible suitor for Estella. It is only now he finally recognises the truth. Pip is more accepting of himself, saying of his complaint to Miss Havisham's unkindness that it was a weak complaint to have made. He accepts his faults. However, his love for Estella does not end, and he says, "You are a part of my existence, part of myself," to her. He is, as always, a hopeless romantic. "And what wind blows you here, Pip?" Miss Havisham remains cold and unfeeling in this chapter, saying, "Who am I, that I should be kind?" and demanding that Pip recognise she had nothing to do with his deception, she only allowed it. It was Pip who deceived himself. Miss Havisham is presented as extremely self-centred, with Pip saying, "I think the endurance of her own trial, she forgot mine, Estella." Miss Havisham is not by nature a cruel person, but she is so tormented that she does not feel the pain of others. However, by the chapter's end, Miss Havisham is resolved in a ghastly state of pity and remorse. She seems to have started to regret the havoc she wreaked on Pip. Looking at me perfectly unmoved and with her fingers busy, she shook her head again. Estella is unchanged throughout the entire novel, other than in the final chapter where she becomes softened by her experiences with Bentley Drummle. Estella stresses that it is Miss Havisham's fault she has become so cruel and unfeeling, saying her nature is the nature formed within me. She casually rejects Pip's heartfelt declarations of love, saying, "You will get me out of your thoughts within a week." Techniques. I took the chair by the dressing table, which I had often seen her occupy. Pip is as unhappy as you can ever have meant me to be at the moment of Miss Havisham, because of Miss Havisham, demanding that Miss Havisham recognises this. He is in the same position as Miss Havisham, taunted, tormented romantic in love with someone who is indifferent towards them. Pip has become Miss Havisham, something that will play in her conscience later on, and the chair represents this. Till the last hour of my life, you could not choose but remain a part of my character, part of the little good in me, part of the evil. Estella comes back to Sutty's house after her marriage to Bentley Drummle ends in his death, where she sees Pip. He has proclaimed to Biddy that he has forgotten Estella, but really he's still in love with her, and he says he is softened enough by her marriage so that she will see him in a new light. When she says, "We will continue friends apart," Pip says, "I see no shadow of another parting from her," implying that he cannot get Estella out of his thoughts, even now. It's unrelated to Estella and Pip's romantic turmoil, but Pip finds the note, "Don't go home," and this is a cliffhanger, which drives the reader into the next chapter, as was often the case in Victorian novels as they are published in magazines. Miss Havisham says to Pip, "You made your own snares. I never made them." Pip has been telling himself things about Miss Havisham for years, that she's been his benefactor and that she's meant him for Estella, but really she's just been leading him on. He entrapped himself in this delusion. Your own act, Estella, to fling yourself away upon a brute? The wife of Bath is, in many ways, a similar character to Estella, having been brought up by her mother to take revenge on men, just as Estella was brought up by her surrogate mother. They both marry an abusive husband, Estella marrying Bentley Drummle and the wife marrying Jenkin. However, the difference is that the wife loves Jenkin, finding a perverse thrill in being beaten by him, but Estella despises Drummle just as much as she despises other men, and feels she must punish herself for her cruelty towards men. Like Miss Havisham, who does not understand that her manipulation of Pip is extremely cruel and makes her as bad as her ex-fiancé, Bunty does not care about her children because she is so caught up in her role as the martyred wife and is lost in her grief for Gillian and Pearl that she does not realise the toll her behaviour takes on Ruby, Patricia, and George.